Welcome everyone to another week of the Focus TV. Joined by Cardo W. Jr. We got Raymond Lyons here. I'm Wilson Tarpey Jr. And we will get started with the NFL playoffs. Fill in for Octavia this week with that, but let's get this stuff up on the screen. We'll start on the AFC side of things. The matchup between two of the best teams in the conference is the Patriots and the Broncos met. Both of those teams went 14-3 in the regular season, so it was inevitable that they were on a collision course, and they both handled their business in the playoffs to make sure that they ended up in the championship game. It was a defensive slugfest which may or may not have been which may have been the case regardless of the weather. In these types of games, it's imperative that you don't turn the ball over because that could be the difference, especially when points aren't at a premium. Jarrett Stidham, who's ushered into the starting role after Bo Nix got hurt, Denver's divisional round win. Stidham turned it over twice, throwing an interception and losing the fumble. Neither team could get anything going offensively. Stidham had more success throwing the ball than Drake May did, but May made up for it with his legs. The Patriots were run for 141 yards. May accounted for 65 of those yards, with veteran running back Ramondre Stevenson accounting for 71. Sean Payton said he regretted his call on 4th and 1 from the Patriots 14 in the second quarter when a field goal would have given his team a double-digit lead. Instead, the play resulted in an incomplete pass, and the Patriots stopped. The Patriots were going to face the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Seattle was one of the best teams in the league all season, and they weren't going to be stopped in the NFC Championship as they beat another division foe in the Los Angeles Rams. This was a back and forth affair. The Seahawks jumped out to a 10-3 lead. The Rams responded in the second quarter. It was 17-13 at the half. Both teams would score twice in the third quarter. Seattle, the ferocious defense did what it needed to do with 4:59 to go in the game. Sean McVay elected to go for it on 4th and 4 on the Seattle 6. Stafford's pass was broken up in the end zone by Devin Witherspoon. The Rams would not get the ball back until there were 25 seconds left in the game. But, not surprisingly, they couldn't do much with that opportunity. Special teams was an issue for the Rams all year, and it cost them the biggest game of the season as Xavier Smith muffed the punt in the third quarter after the Rams got a stop that led to a Sam Darnold touchdown. He connected with Jake Bobo for the score. Sam Darnold is on the brink of a Super Bowl win. The embattled veteran quarterback may have found a home in Seattle. He threw for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game, going score for score with Matthew Stafford, who also had 3 touchdowns and threw for 374 yards. The last time Seattle made the Super Bowl, which I believe it's been 11 years, they faced the New England Patriots. So deja vu. Neither, no one from that time is here on either side except for the Seahawks GM. I think he became the first GM in history to essentially build two Super Bowl teams with different head coaches. So credit to John Snyder for that. And we got a week in between before we get to the Super Bowl. Just want to get you guys' thoughts on it before we move on. Just what you guys think of the matchup and how these folks got here. Right, we'll start with you and then Cardell.
Yeah, I think Seattle's defense is going to be the X factor, man. Yeah, going up against. I know he's in the Super Bowl, but Drake May still fairly inexperienced for the most part. And yeah, it's different. I don't think they faced a defense like that all year. But on the flip side of that, I feel like we talked about this a little early in the season. Is at some point Sam Darnold gonna Sam Darnold? So it's a toss up, but I think Seattle's defense get him the edge.
Cardell.
Yeah, for me, a little bit too much experience on the Seahawks side, and I know, like what Ray said about Sam Darnold. I know people like to, pick on him and stuff like that. But he's gotten it done. He can't. He's gotten it done. I'm gonna get you get it done. I'm gonna give you. What's there to argue? It's in our face. He's gotten it done. Like he would have to have an epic Super Bowl McDowell to be like, yeah, that's what we was talking about, man. And I just can't see him, even if it's like a 2 touchdown, 2 interception type game. I can't see him imploding that bad. they do have I wouldn't say an outstanding, but a guy that can that's a quality running back in Kenneth Walker. So even if he is having a bad game, let's say Sam Darnold, because the Patriots defense is when they locked in, they can be a force. You know what I mean? I think they can give it to Kenneth Walker to get, to kind of settle him down, something they can rely on to get, Sam time if he is, bothered by the Super Bowl lights. Kenneth Walker can kind of hold it down and do what he needs to do. Then you got guys like Cooper Kupp and, Jackson Smith, Jigba, and all those guys. Like, they got some weapons over there. And I ain't even talking about the defense yet. So the Seahawks gonna be the heavy favorites, and they deserve to be. I think a lot of people looking at the Patriots like y'all won because obviously, my mom quarterback went down. It's just tough, and it's the reason why Stidham is back up, journeyman back up. It's a reason for that. And then the snow is just whatever. They made more plays than the Broncos did, and they got there. You know what I mean? Especially having home field. It's not that, but I think anybody understand, and especially in the NFL, when your star quarterback go down, it's tough. Unless you got a hell of a backup. You're on some Tom Brady stuff we just don't know about. He come in and do his thing. Kurt Warner stuff we don't know about. Something like that, and that's rare. So, but yeah, Seahawks got to be the favorites on that, man. Like, for me, they would just have to implode on the biggest stage, and then that would say a lot about them. But I can't really see them going down. But stranger things have happened in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I definitely think Seattle's a favorite. I think one of the things with Seattle is like there's like seven things that have to go wrong before it's all on Sam Darnold, and it's hard for all those things to go wrong. Like you guys talked about the defense. Another thing, what they got in that trade, getting Shaheed from the Saints, their special teams is a legit weapon since he landed there. Like there hasn't been a game since that trade in which he hasn't impacted the game heavily with some type of huge return. Um, in the divisional round against the Niners, I think he started a game with a 95-yard kickoff return just to set the tone. Like you guys won't be winning in this phase. So we get that out of there. Then against the Rams, like they're just a really well put together outfit. Um, and I know with the Patriots, they see some things over there, but I'm interested in where they could get advantage at because you got to nullify their special teams. And at the same time, defensively, I think they actually might have. Like I thought the Patriots and the Broncos, whichever team came out of that game, probably had a better chance of any defense in the NFC of dealing with the Seahawks because JSN's been running rampant all year long. Um, and Denver has a couple, they have an eraser in their secondary. New England has an eraser in their secondary. Um, no disrespect to the Rams, have no secondary. Niners have no pass rush. And Seattle did what you're supposed to do with teams like that. And I don't know if I don't know with the Patriots. Like, have they done anything where we could trust anything going in? Like, this is exactly what they do. To Cardell's point, like I don't know, but that's what makes the Super Bowl interesting. There's been 40 some odd versions of this, iterations of the Super Bowl, and there's been a lot of teams that have been favored that didn't end up getting it done. But we'll see how things go. But for Seattle, it's been a hell of a run all year. It's been wire to wire for them in the NFC. And then on the AFC side, like we literally got the two best teams. Like those two teams were at the top of the AFC all year long. They didn't blink. And it sucks that we got to see that. I didn't even care about the weather. It was just they're missing their quarterback. Wrong time of the year to lose a quarterback. Like nobody's surviving that. I don't care what's going on. Like there's continuity with it. There's a certain there's a confidence there. There's comfort there. That goes away. If there's ever a sport where there's a level between your starter and your backup, it's that quarterback. It is. It's huge. It's huge. It does so much. But we'll see how things go. But we'll move on to the Wizards. What you got for us, Ryan?
Yeah, they're in action tonight. Third quarter pretty much just got underway. They're up 64-58 on the Trailblazers right now. They took a pretty solid lead in the halftime. It's crazy because they got manhandled on the boards. They were out rebounded 32-20 in the first half, but it was actually their defense that allowed them to get some separation. They had forced 13 turnovers from the Trailblazers. That's uncharacteristic of them, and it allowed them to get some breathing room. But over the last week, they dropped their 2 games against the Nuggets and the Hornets. On Saturday, they fell to the Hornets 119-115. The biggest thing in that game, they couldn't keep them off the line. They sent the Hornets to the line 30 times, and they made 23 of them. That type of discrepancy in a 4-point game is huge. They only went to the line 9 times and made 8. So they were minus 15 at the free throw line in a 4-point game. That's pretty much ball game right there. I got to be a little more sound defensively and stop playing with their hands. And against the Nuggets, it was just too much Peyton Watson. The last time they had faced them, Jamal Murray was the culprit. He still contributed 9-17, 24 points, but Peyton Watson was the killer. 10-16, 6-8 from 3, 9-10 from the line. Also had 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 4 blocks to go with his 35 points. They focused in on Murray and Watson got loose. But recently Trey Johnson, he's really starting to come into form. He had a season high 26 against the Hornets. He's just starting to look more comfortable and find his way, which is definitely encouraging. They're still dealing with a little bit of injury stuff, but they're working through it. But yeah, man, if they can hold on, they will be snapping a 9-game losing streak. So hopefully we'll have good news and Wizards outlook later. But the Trailblazers are storming back. This is typically a time when the Wizards start to have problems coming out in the third quarter. So hopefully they can withstand the surge, regain their footing, and come out with a win.
Sure. More to college basketball, Cardell.
Just going to deal with GW for this week. George Washington men's basketball team rolled past Richmond 85-69, a big A-10 matchup to complete the season sweep at Richmond. The Revolutionaries exploded for 52 first half points on nearly 56% shooting and a high 52% from 3, which set the tone early, and GW never looked back. Even as inevitable as it is, the offense cooled off at the halftime. GW defense, held firm. They held the Spiders under 40% shooting, and they shut down any type of momentum or run that Richmond could try to muster up to get back in the game and take control of the game. Trey Dinkins finished with 16 points off the bench under 19 minutes. Christian Jones added 14. And 5 GW players scored between 11 and 16 points. So it was a balanced attack offensively. But the difference in the game was the 3-point line. 15 made threes for GW versus 7 for Richmond, which sparked the wire-to-wire win and a 4-3 conference mark. Now they're back above 500 in the league play. They got a big one coming up. They head to face St. Louis tonight. Ironically, the A-10 leader after George Mason lost over the weekend up in Rhode Island. St. Louis sit alone at number 1. They're ranked 24th in the country in the new AP and coaches poll. So GW go over there to see if they could try to get a big win and give them a big upset.
Yeah, fun time of year as people winding down in conference play to figure out who's going to be ranked where, heading into conference tournaments, whatnot. Cardo, you kept us abreast of a very fun A-10 season thus far. Looking forward to see how things continue to shake out. Head over to the Maryland side of things real quick. Last week when we talked, they just come off a road trip when they went out west, and they split those 2 games. Last week, tough loss for Maryland. They hosted Iowa, Iowa remained perfect in conference play. They beat Maryland 85-78. The Hawkeyes looked like they had the game comfortably in regulation. They were up double digits with about 2 minutes left. Maryland went on a sensational run to close the game and force OT. However, the Terps couldn't get over the hump in extra period. Um, they would suffer the fourth loss of the year in this one, and so you guys can see the end of this crazy game. Um, suffered their fourth loss of the year. All four losses came in conference play. They're now 17-4 on the year, 5-4 in the Big Ten. Iowa was led by Ava Hyden's 20 points and 8 rebounds. Jazadi Wright finished with 18 points, while Taylor McCabe and Hannah Stolke finished with 12 points apiece. Maryland was led by Izzy Ozzy Mamadou's 18 points, 12 rebounds, in her double-double. Kendall Walker added 15 points and 2 blocks. Lucia Economo had 14 points and 12 rebounds, while Yarden Garzon had 12. Up next, Maryland hosts Washington and Oregon this week on the 28th and the 31st. For full recap, along with some takeaways, just head over to our Roku and Amazon channel and check out the latest recap. But for Maryland, it was crazy. We're on our big run. But like I told you guys several times this year, when their key players get in foul trouble, they struggle mightily. This was one of those games where Lucia Econo is hardly ever the other team slows her down. Foul trouble does. Yana Garzon, same thing. Foul trouble does. Um, when the three of them, the three upperclassmen, whether it's Lucci, Yarden, and Sailor, if those three end up in foul trouble or any combination of those two, and they're not on the floor for one period of time, Maryland is very young. They struggle when those folks are off the floor, and it definitely hurt in that game against Iowa. We'll see what it looks like. They got two opportunities this week to get back on the winning side of things and kind of hold serve in the conference. But we'll see what things look like next week. Cardell, what you got for us? And take it or leave it.
Yeah, man, we're gonna start on NBA side of things. Los Angeles Lakers superstar LeBron James reportedly did not push the team to draft his son Bronny James in the 24 NBA draft, according to ESPN's Ramona Shelburne via ESPN Los Angeles Radio. This report by Shelburne comes in the aftermath of ESPN's Baxter Holmes hit piece on the Lakers and Governor Jeannie Buss. In that piece, Holmes noted how Buss reportedly didn't think James was grateful for the Lakers drafting Bronny with the 55th pick in the 2024 NBA draft. And when the Lakers drafted James' son Bronny with the 55th pick, Jeannie privately remarked that James should be grateful for such a gesture, but she felt that he wasn't. People close to the team told ESPN. Ray, we're going to start with you. Do you believe this report at all? And what's the purpose of even putting this out there at this point?
Yeah, I don't believe it. Of course, I don't know for certain, but sometimes 2 + 2 is 4, man. And like you said, what is the purpose of putting this out? Like, why do you feel like you have to say that? And who else was going to draft him? And on top of that, he's been very vocal about wanting to play with his son once it looked like it would be a possibility. So it's just more PR nonsense. The fact that they felt like they had to put a story out about it means they're self-conscious and there's something to it. So of course it's all speculative on my end, but I think we can all put the pieces together.
Wilson.
Yeah, what's the point of this? The buses aren't there anymore, right? It's new ownership. What's the point of this? Um, who does this serve? This story coming out, which is a whole another interesting conversation. But again, why does anybody care in 2026 about this? Like, why is this even being discussed? And that whole, let's go along with the premise or whatever the be grateful thing is. That might be what's wrong with what you have going on in LA if that's what you're doing with the pick instead of trying to land someone who could help you. If you're doing a favor for someone and they should be grateful. Also, prior to that, like in every previous stops, looking at history, what made you think said person was going to be grateful for this? What did you think? Like, how did you see this going? If again, going with this premise. Lastly, like, yeah, just I believe none of it. It's like everything else with that company, that camp is stories just randomly pop up on the outside, but it just never makes any sense. I guess this is something else to talk about instead of talking about the fact that an agent was on podcast talking about other people's players like the last month. But yeah, this what those folks do is choose to do. It is always interesting and just sad, honestly. But yeah, again, January 2026. Who cares?
Yeah, of course, I don't believe it. Um, it's just another reflection of certain people in the media being you know part of the crew of mouthpieces for that camp to play damage control. It's like what Ray said. If you don't feel if it had no merit, why even come out with this now? The piece was a few days ago. Um, a lot has happened since then. Wasn't nobody talking about it. You know how things move in the social media. Story today, it's like a 10-year history, 10-year past thing the next day. Moving on to the next thing. So there's no reason to even address it. Especially if I remember LeBron, a post game when they asked him about it, he was like, man, I had nothing to do with none of that and all that. All right, you answered it. So why all of a sudden now this comes out on the radio of all things? So I don't know, man. It's just I think sometimes that camp just I think they really think the masses are just idiots. You know what I mean? Sometimes, and when you know you're not an idiot, it's very insulting. So it's just like, just hoop, man. Let's just play basketball, man. Um, at this stage, I try not to even get on Browning because he didn't ask for this. I mean, he may have wanted to be an NBA player, but he didn't ask for everything that came with it. He's caught up in other stuff, but he still hasn't came close to proving he's an NBA player. So if he hasn't proven it now after pretty much 2 years around, he dang sure didn't really earn it in college because of multiple reasons, health scare and productivity and all that. How else would he get drafted if certain people didn't demand that? Let's move on. We're going to leave it right there. NFL, big news. According to ESPN, Seth Wickersham and Don Van Natta Jr., 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach Bill Belichick has not been elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame on the first ballot. Quote, in voting earlier this month, Belichick fell short of the 40 out of 50 votes needed for induction to the Pro Football Hall of Fame during his first year eligibility. Belichick received a call from a Hall representative last Friday afternoon with the news that he won't be inducted to the Hall in Canton, Ohio this summer. Bill Belichick replied, 6 Super Bowls isn't enough. What does a guy have to do? While Belichick is widely considered to be among the greatest coaches in NFL history, his 24-season tenure coaching the Patriots also saw multiple alleged cheating scandals, Spygate and Deflategate come to light, which reportedly came up in deliberations among voters. Quote, the only explanation for the outcome was the cheating stuff, a veteran Hall of Fame voter told ESPN. It really bothered some of the guys. Belichick, 73, coached the Patriots from 2000 to 23, amassed a 333, 178 overall record, regular and postseason combined, while winning 17 AFC East titles, 9 conference championships, and 6 Super Bowls. Wilson, are you shocked? Take it or leave it, first of all, of him not getting in the Hall, and are you shocked by it?
I'm gonna leave it. The football writers for the Hall of Fame, y'all need help, man. All I ask is, if you're gonna do this to Bill, when it's time for Tom, we gonna have the same energy or not?
Oh, they won't.
Okay, cool. So we all know that, right? So this is why it's laughable. So if cheating is an issue for this, and the other person was directly like they go together, accomplished what they did together, correct? For their tenure in New England. So if one side can be held responsible for the cheating or the cheating affect one party, but it doesn't affect the other party, and one party's a coach, one party's a quarterback, how are y'all? Where's this line of delineation? Where is it? Please, like show your work. I want to understand how you got here. That's all I'm asking. Secondly, when y'all pick and choose to use y'all little moral compasses, boy, it is hilarious. Um, Throughout NFL history, there have been some highly questioned characters that have been in the Hall of Fame, that have played this game, that have gone first ballot. What y'all mad about, man? What Bill to do to y'all? Is it just because he was an asshole in the media? Is that like y'all biggest thing? Is like you can do whatever, but you better talk to me. And I know Bill won't talk to none of y'all. He don't like y'all. So this y'all big sticking to a moment. Y'all know that just makes y'all look like clowns, and it doesn't take away from what he accomplished. Like it doesn't change anything. We're just gonna look back and just be like, oh, you're gonna help somebody be like, who are the guys that were responsible for this? And now you guys are gonna be known for horrible reasons. Like this wasn't hard. What Ray just talked about 2+2 is for. This was a slam dunk case. You put him and his buddy in there, you call it a day. Unless you're gonna make it that both of them are second ballot. If you're not gonna do it for both, what we doing here? This is stupid. Yes, he didn't like y'all. I don't think he likes people. What y'all mad about? And he was consistent with this. Right? He coaches a college team. I still barely hear him talk. What are y'all mad about? Some of y'all thought y'all gonna get a one-on-one with. Do y'all? You know how they always do those one-on-ones with coaches before the Super Bowls? Do y'all even remember one with Bill? So y'all really let your petty little egos mess with what this man accomplished. That's sad. But we gonna turn around. Y'all gonna be on hands and knees praising Tom like they wasn't doing the same things they was doing together during that time. That's crazy, but y'all got it, man.
Right.
Leaving it 1,000 times, man. This is ridiculous and petty and childish. And I can't remember. These votes aren't made public, are they?
I don't think so, because they said there haven't been any reports about who voted or whatnot. I don't think so. It's not like the NBA where they release the writers.
Yeah.
And stuff. Yeah, it's not like that.
You need to be you need to be tarred and feathered and walk through the streets. Show yourself, because that's like, come on, man. If he not first ballot, then who is? And like Wilson said, if it is because of all the extra stuff, then yeah, you want to keep that same energy when Buddy is up for eligibility. So yeah, man, and that's gonna, we already know it's nonsense, but that's gonna put the hypocrisy on front street when that time comes. And if it's not the same, like what's the purpose? Like, are you gonna keep him out forever? Because that would be even worse. Like, just get it out the way, man. He's 6 Super Bowls. Like what? Like you said, what more do you have to do? But yeah, man, it's no explaining this away other than, you know, people holding the grudge and finally getting a chance for they get back.
Go ahead, Wilson.
Hey man, so just real quick, the 50-person committees primarily composed of NFL media members, established football figures, yada yada yada, whatever. But here we go. Bill Polian, because I'm sure this is now biased. Reports from you were talking about Dan Van Nutter Jr. He told other voters that Bill should wait a year as penance for Spygate. Tony Dungy, because again, unbiased, should Spygate and Deflategate should be held. Bruh, why are people that he beat like have any say in this? I don't understand this. Like, all right, man, y'all got it. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Who cares what Bill Polian has to say?
You said what, Bill Polian what?
Like, I'm just saying, like, who cares how Bill Polian feels about it? He's not gonna have any fair and biased take about Bill Belichick? He can't.
And you said Tony Dungy said he wouldn't, the ruler?
Yeah, him and Bill Point and Tony Dungy were amongst the kind of the leaders about the holding Spygate and the Flakegate against them, and Bill Point, those two were mentioning that stuff to be held against them when presenting the case to the other voters. But I'm just like, what do people expect those two dudes to say? Like, you're gonna get it unbiased anything from them?
But I think, to be fair, I think they had those stances because the NFL was biased towards them because they was winning so much. And Tom Brady was the golden goose. And I think that's why they hint at that. It's like everything went their way during that run, even stuff that other teams couldn't have got away from. So part of me do understand it, even though, like, fine, let's say you take those 2 years where those two things happen. You take them away, take the Super Bowls away. Still 4. Still 4 Super Bowls. That means he's worthy of getting in first ballot. That's why, I mean, like, my thing is a reporter, I ain't gotta like you. Like, there's plenty of players we just wasn't fond of because they acted like total assholes for no reason, man. You know what I mean? And then they retire, and it's funny how they come back around to certain media people, media, now we need you, but you're not that same dude. So, what goes around comes around is basically what I'm saying. But I'll never hold it against somebody I don't like from something that they've earned. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gotta like you for you to give you your props. It's like the NBA side of things where media members hold grudges against certain players and stuff. So they won't vote for them for all NBA or all defensive team and all that. But that's literally taking money out those players' pockets because those honors help them get a payday. I couldn't even live with myself because it's bigger than that. Like, they get that's how they feed their family, and they earned it. It's not the fact that I'm just giving them something they earned. They earned it. They put the work in, they produce, they earned it. Give them their props. We ain't got to get along. And I think too many media members have, and I'm I mean this respectfully, but y'all understand what I'm saying. It's like the nerd that couldn't play sports, and now that they feel they on a level playing field because they in the media, it's like, they want to prove, I'm just as big and bad as you, or even got even power over you, and that's just lame. That's just lame, man. Like, it's like I said, fine. You want to punish them? Punish them for the 2 Super Bowls. Cool. Take the whole wins and all that off. Still a hell of a overall record. The AFC East was basically the Patriots Invitational every year. Take those 2 years away where they say 17, he still got 15 AFC East division titles. And we not even including the Super Bowls they went to and lost. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it don't make no sense. I get why certain people don't like it, man. I think was that against the Raiders when they began it?
With the Tucker rule thing. Yeah,
that was another one. I get it. Like, I get it. Even come on, man. We had, my team Broncos had plenty of wars against them. It's like if you fell near this dude Brady, it was a flag. That's where you get it from. But I'm like, you still got to look at the total book and not certain chapters of the book. And the total book, man, it's like, come on, man, he's definitely first ballot. Because if you really nitpick at a lot of coaches and teams from the past, there's a lot of people who cheated and stuff like that, man, to performance enhancing stuff. It's all types of stuff, man. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't look good, but I'm just shocked that the NFL all of a sudden having a moral compass is hilarious to me. But, that's neither here nor there. Let's just move on, man. Follow up to last week when we talked about this. Duke and Miami will both have 2 new quarterbacks next season as the Blue Devils reached a settlement agreement with Darian Mensah that let him out of his contractual obligations with the university. Mensah will now transfer to Miami, where he is expected to take Carson Beck's starting quarterback role. Quote, through close collaboration and principal negotiation, we have successfully navigated our unprecedented path on one that has now reached a fair and mutually agreeable resolution. Memphis agency Young Money APA Sports said in a statement issued to Max Olson at ESPN.com. Terms of the deal weren't disclosed. It's possible that Mesa made a payment to Duke, one for which his next school may reimburse him, or that Duke realized that suing players may not be good for recruiting. Duke's statement seems to acknowledge the fact that it's a delicate business to take student athletes to court. Mesa led Duke to their first ever ACC championship in football in 2025 as he threw for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns in an upset win over number 17 Virginia, which briefly had Duke in the conversation for a college football playoff spot, despite their 8-5 record. Instead, Duke settled for a 42-39 win over Arizona State in the Sun Bowl. Mesa is now expected to sign with Miami, where he'll be reunited with wide receiver Cooper Barkay. And their one season together at Duke, Barkay caught 72 passes for 1,106 yards and 7 touchdowns. Miami will host Duke on November 14th. Ray, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think they got to the arbitration table and he gave them a number they was comfortable with to make this go away, which I'm not mad at. But yeah, this is, like you guys said last week, I think this is going to open up a nasty can of worms and make this whole business even messier than it already is. If I'm Miami, like, well, they've already committed to it, but how do you even bring in somebody that moves like this? I wouldn't be comfortable. But that's up to them. Hopefully it works out. Hopefully the young man goes on to have success. But yeah, this is going. I think this is going to have a ripple effect with this whole NIL business or whatever they got going on. So yeah, man, crazy times we in.
Wilson.
Yeah, like Ray said, I think Miami's made it clear like that's just how they're gonna move. Is they're just gonna be running quarterbacks, veteran quarterbacks, and keep it moving. Like it looks like that's not a position they're gonna be recruiting out of high school. That's just been their decision about it. What was it? They got Cam Ward via transfer this past year. Forget the kid's name, but he was at another school. He was at SEC school, I think, before he got to Miami. Now Mensah's coming from Duke. That just seems how they're going to go about their business. So I understand it for Miami. So like Ray, like you say, about how they move, I don't think they care as long as they get their guy. I think Miami's fine with it. But for Duke, that's crazy. You go from wanting to sue to, oh, okay, he's good to go. Or I guess my question was, did they have their new quarterback, like was the successor in play last week? Or did that happen during this week? Or was it simply the thing, Cardell, you mentioned somebody making a point on the Duke side that, yeah, that's cool. We could win this battle and lose the war from a recruiting standpoint when people are like, oh, that's how they going with how fickle these kids are, which is another thing. But again, all that is part of this whole nasty, messy picture that everybody wanted. So, I know Miami's not tripping. They're like, for the third straight year, it was Carson Beck. Here we go. For the third straight year, Miami's like, we got our transfer quarterback. Unbothered. But yeah, I would love to see the details of the settlement because now, Cardell, I saw you posted it a couple days ago, and they didn't say anything about how. They just said they settled. I want to know how. So somebody better get on a Pablo Torre and give us details.
Yeah, I'm with both of y'all. I think I know a nice check had to been cut. I know that much. You know what I mean? And yeah, Miami might reimburse them. That November 14th game should be interesting. Should be nasty. Like, I won't be surprised if it's a bounty on their head and the NIL. Like, you take him out on November 14th, nice little bonus for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it's nasty. And and Ray, I feel you, man. How he moved, you gotta think twice. But so many of these kids are moving the same way, dogs. Like, dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it ain't him, it's gonna be somebody else, man. It's just, and with all due respect, what would be more enticing if the money's the same? Miami's prestige and history or Duke's? Football wise, now if it's basketball, it's gonna flip quick. But football, yeah, I'm gonna go with that Hurricane with that the NFL pedigree, Hall of Fame pedigree. The list is just it don't end. So that's just what it is, man. But you gotta understand this: if his ass don't perform, it could be a very, very tough season for him down in Miami, man. All right, we're gonna move on, keep it moving. Stay on football, college football. Saw this the other day, thought it was very interesting. For the Colorado football team, there's a stiff price to pay for being late to practice. $500 fine, not showing up at all. That's a $2,500 fine. Coach Deion Sanders is cracking down on violations of team rules with heftier fines for his players. Fresh off a 3-9 season, Sanders unveiled his fine structure during his first meeting with the team last Friday. The fees are seen in the background of a video posted by Well Off Media, the social media company run by Zodi DeAndre that chronicles the team. The fines are connected to name, image, and likeness, licensing agreements, and not related to on-field performances. They are strictly for violating team rules, which is permissible according to the school. This isn't the first time Sanders has enacted a fine, so it's just now more costly. Other fines that will be assessed include $2,000 for being a no-show to a meeting or a film session, $400 for being late, $1,500 for not showing up to a strength and conditioning workout, $1,000 for being late to treatment, $1,500 for no-show, and up to $2,500 for a violation of a team rules, and up to $5,000 for public or social media misconduct. Sanders must ban profanity outside the meeting room, especially in the dining area, because we're not the only ones in the cafeteria. We need to be respectful. In addition, Sanders stressed the importance of being respectful to women. One of the biggest forbidden items was directed at transfers. T-shirts, sweatshirts of any other gear of their former team. Quote, that's disrespectful. That would be like your lady that you have currently wearing her ex-boyfriend stuff. How do you feel about that? She's sitting up there with a shirt on that had her ex-boyfriend's name. And that's how I feel about that when I see you coming to the cafeteria. You eat our food with your last team on. Obviously, if you wanted to stay there, you should have stayed. Whew. This was hilarious, and Wilson, take it away.
Hey man, look, I'm with it. This is what they wanted. We're here. It's what y'all wanted, right? Y'all adults, y'all getting paid. Cool. I saw people up in arms and clutching their pearls. Of, the kids aren't a union and that. Hey man, you want to know what? You wanted to go play D1 sports? Suck it up, get over it. Don't care. It's honestly, some of y'all need this because some of y'all get to the league from other places and don't know how to act when you get there. So kudos to Dion for this. I'm not gonna name any names of Dual Carter. Folks don't know how to act when they get places in their rookie year because people didn't. Maybe they didn't meet rules before. But yeah, nah, I think it's a positive thing. Shouldn't need to be, but we are here. Um, and you got to meet folks where they're at, right? So for all y'all that are belly aching about why this is happening, um, ask the people that this is for why this even needs to be in place. What are they doing where this need to be reminded that they have to be told not to wear the school like wear clothes from the school they just left? You didn't have someone having to tell you that is crazy. Again, I understand it because this is the day and age we're in. But this is what this is the terms of engagement, right? It is what it is. Yeah, I thought this was hilarious, man. I died laughing every time I saw this on my timeline, and probably will continue to do so for like the next month or two.
Right.
Yeah, man, that's what they open the door for. There's penalties at every job. That's what happens. And yeah, like Wilson said, man, like I don't think he just came up with this stuff out of nowhere. I think he's reacting to things that have been happening. And what's the best way to correct behavior? Gotta have consequences. And yeah, like I'm sure in this climate that college sports is in, these kids need some structure because you're making that type of money at that age. your head's going to get big, and you're going to feel like you can do what you want. So, yeah, as the coach, I'm pretty sure he wants to curb that, and this is his method of doing so. If you don't like it, go play somewhere else.
I'm most definitely with it. I was raised off discipline. Pops was a Marine. He raised me at times to the extreme with discipline. You know what I'm saying? Just handle your business. And I'm in a sense now I'm glad he did, because that's just my mentality: handle business and then get to the rest later. And be respectful, have integrity, be on point, be prompt. So just be professional. Yeah, they getting paid. It's consequences, and like Ray said, a lot of youngins, hell, grown ass men that can't handle having a lot of money, let alone some are teenagers, some are grown ass men. But y'all get what I'm saying, man. Like the young, it's an atmosphere now with a lot of young people where a lot of adults kiss their ass. It was a little bit of that when we was growing up, but not nearly as bad as it is now. If anything, the adults was like, "Oh, you not all that, bro. Like you ain't." They would check you quickly. They would kill all that entitlement stuff, and I think a lot of kids today are entitled. Plus, they come up with a 3-9 record, I believe. You see what I'm saying, man? Whatever we did last year obviously ain't worked, so we gonna be way more disciplined and more locked in on what we need to be doing. So cool. You always gonna have some players that buck the system, try it and all that. That's fine. Your pocket's gonna be a little bit lighter. And I don't care how much money you think you have, eventually paying 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, that shit hurt. I don't care how much money you make. You're like, what? For what? I gotta pay $5,000 for not showing up on time? That don't even sound right. You see what I'm saying? That just sounds stupid and just irresponsible. And I'm like, and if you can't get right when that happens, you just need to go. You just don't need to be playing football no more. You need to go. And that's the consequence of money. This is how professionals get dealt with. We're going to take your money. Then we're going to take your playing time. Now, if you don't have no playing time, it's going to be hard for you to get more money. Now you're just a broke former athlete. And, of course, why would you wear your former team gear? That should be common sense. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the gear might be cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I mean, remember back in the day, Cincinnati, the Jordan Brand gear that they had when Kenyon Martin was all that there? Man, that was the day. I know I might transfer, but that joint gonna be, I'm folding that up. We keeping that. You know what I'm saying? Till I graduate, then I'm about rocking that. You see what I'm saying? I get it. But you can't wear it at the new school, dog. Come on, man. I grew up a Maryland Terp fan. I couldn't transfer to Duke and wear a Juan Dixon jersey, Like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And you can wear a JJ Redick jersey around College Park. You got the hell beat out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd have been no peace. So it's just, you wearing a Pearl Washington jersey around Georgetown. Like, come on, dog. What's up with that, dog? What's up with you, dog? People gonna stuff. It could get ignorant. So I get what he's saying, man. But I overall, I just like the standard he's setting and the discipline. Yeah, them numbers right there would scare me. It would scare me more than him getting on me. I'm like, dang, man, that's a lot of money to just be giving away, bro. So, and if I was him, I probably would have took a step further. Hey, because they teammates kind of stay with one another, dormitories or whatever. Like, if you go to practice and leave your teammate, you don't try to wake him up, it's a fine for the whole team. Now you got to deal with the whole team on your head. You know what I'm saying? Now they're gonna police each other. Hey, make sure you hear tomorrow, because I ain't paying no $1,000. And I'm like, all right, cool. And if they don't come, however y'all want to deal with it, it's how y'all want to deal with it. So it's up to them, man. Just do what you're supposed to do. Do what you're there to do. Get your education. Be the best football player you can be. And you ain't got to worry about it. We already know it's going to be some knuckleheads, so I expect to see some situations through his son's media where somebody got paid to find. They probably going to be crying, I need that for my mom. Hey, should have thought about that. That's consequences, bro. That's real world stuff. If you don't show up to work on time, you get fired. How you going to take care of your lady? How you going to take care of your baby? that's just how I go, man. So I love it. One more question, then we're gonna get out of here. According to NFL media, Denver has fired offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi. Lombardi, 54, have been with Denver since 2023 with Sean Payton. Was hired as head coach. The move reunited the two men as Lombardi served as offensive assistant under Payton with the Saints from 2007 to 2013 and 2016 to 2020. Lombardi also served as the Chargers offensive coordinator under former head coach Brandon Staley from 21 to 22. The Broncos could promote from within and replace Lombardi, passing game coordinator, quarterbacks coach Davis Webb, who's up for the Raiders head coaching job. Could be a strong candidate to take over the role, but it seems unlikely that Payton will give up offensive play calling duties to whoever takes over at offensive coordinator. Man, Ray, we're gonna start with you. Think this was a rush decision, considering the situation with Knicks going down and they won game from the Super Bowl, or do you feel like this was the ideal move?
Yeah, I feel like it was a rush decision. Like you just said, man, they one game away from the Super Bowl. Who knows how that goes if Knicks doesn't go down? I didn't see a reason why they would be displeased with how their offense performed this season, but I'm not the one making that decision. So again, whenever somebody do something like this, I wish you the best. I hope it works out. I think it's a lot more to lose than the game. Considering the type of year they just had. So yeah, man, stuff like this always puzzles me.
Wilson.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things where this is where it was one of the tough parts where your head coach is the play caller, right? Because that whoever is the quote unquote offensive coordinator, you don't have the same role that other offensive coordinators do, where you're calling plays. You don't when you're with those guys. You work for Sean Payton, McVay, Kyle Shanahan, what have you. You're not calling plays. You're tasked with prep. You're tasked with suggestions, things like that. But you're not the one sequencing the plays and things of that nature. So I don't know whether it's rash or not. I know Payton's had history with it before. Um, I don't know. Maybe he wants somebody else from a prep standpoint behind the scenes, something where I just think it's one of those things where it's harder to know because it's not as cut and dry as they call the plays. So that's a crazy decision. How could you do that or have you? Because in those situations they don't call the plays. So I don't know exactly what he's tasked with doing. What if from Sean Payton's view did he let him down or fail or come up short of his duties somewhere? But yeah, it's weird because you just had a hell of a season. Um, and it does seem rash. I'm just not sure because it's weird with those. Like I said, though that the teams that have that dynamic, it's always weird to me because you never know which offensive assistant is like is like one of the non-negotiable pieces that can't be moved for those coaches. Um, because some coaches like they lose pieces around them that call plays, but then some guys like they won't let leave, they won't let out of their sight no matter what goes on. So I'm interested to see. I don't know, but it could be rash.
Well, let's go to the little metrics, shall we? Point score 23.6 a game, 14th in the NFL, middle of the pack, a little slightly above middle of the pack. Not bad at all. Yards, overall yards for offense, 10th in the league. 14th in first downs, 4th in passing attempts. I'm looking, the league ranking. It plays pretty high for the offensive ranking, especially with kind of one of the better defenses in the league, if not the best. So I don't know what that's about. I hope it's not the usual we fell short, so someone got to take the fall blame type crap. I hate that. I don't know who's pressuring that. Maybe obviously we've heard about owners being mad and emotional, and they're like somebody got to go, and then somebody got to just be the fall guy, which I think is weak. I think it's too much emotion. It's just emotion, man. I think you at least give it another year and see what it is when hopefully Bo is back. I just saw the report where they said, uh, his leg was on his last kind of days anyway. Like it was inevitable. It was going to happen. It was just a matter of when with the injury. So with that report, that should tell you all you need to know, man. Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm just not with the overreaction to always dismissing, the coaches, always putting on coaches, so to speak. Um, you finally broke through this year. Give it another run with the same core, with the same group. See how it goes. Especially with Knicks going down now, that guys gonna be motivated because now you understand like just as much as we had it, it can go away just like that. So you're gonna care about it more, man. You're gonna appreciate the moment more. You're gonna want to get back there more because you feel like you was robbed. You had a chance to go to Super Bowl, and now that's taken from you. Our quarterback went down. Now, if there was some stuff going behind the scenes that we don't know about, that was just crazy. That where he offensive coordinator just alienated a bunch of the players all the time or something like that, then I get it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But we haven't seen any reports like that out, man. I just feel like it was just an emotional deal because of what happened over the weekend. We just got to do something. No, you don't always got to do something. Like look at my NBA side, look at the Knicks. Blame Tibbs for everything. Same issues have been there throughout the season with the new coach Mike Brown opening up the offense. Y'all said open up the offense. Okay, he opened up the offense. Same issues. So now who's at fault? You feel what I'm saying? It's funny how players don't be quick to raise their hand for that part of it. But anything else, they quit. So, nah, man. It's just an unfortunate situation, man. But we're gonna see how it plays out.
Yeah. We will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Don't forget to get over to the FocusTV.com and obviously our channels over on Roku and Amazon. All you have to do on each of those services or devices is type in the Focus TV, double tap OK on your remotes to add the channel. With your outlook, folks, we'll see y'all in a little while. Everyone else again, we'll see y'all later this week.